Very, very relatable. And so, verse 21, so that servant came and shewed his Lord these things. Then the master of the house, being angry, said to his servant, Go out quickly into the streets and the lanes of the city, and bring in hither the poor and the maimed and the halt and the blind. Again, this metaphor for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And the Lord being a metaphor for Yahawah and Yahawashi. Yahawah in the name of Yahawashi. Verse 22, and the servant said, Lord, it is done as thou hast commanded, and yet there is room. And the Lord said unto the servant, Go out into the highways and hedges, and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. For I say unto you, that none of these men which were bidden shall taste of my supper. And of course, the highways and hedges being a metaphor for, our modern day city streets and areas where people are transiting and congregating and passing. And I'd like to take this a step further and also say that this is a reference to the information highway. I'm sure everyone has heard sort of the metaphor for, the internet as our super highway of information. That is also another place where people are transiting, they're congregating and conducting commerce in any number of things. So if you're not able to go out physically, then for whatever reason, number one, pray about it, that the Most High puts you in a situation where you can do that. And then number two, while you're waiting on the Most High to move you and move your circumstances, do the next best thing, right? Which is the information superhighway. Whether that's producing content for YouTube, setting up your own website where you can share information and essentially feed the sheep. And of course, the marriage supper. There's many metaphors that speak to this in the scriptures, but ultimately, what that is a metaphor of is the kingdom of heaven. And so we have here in Revelation, this is chapter 21 and verse 1, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. That's talking about this time now. And there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from Yahawah out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And of course, as the nation of Israel, we are married unto the Most High. And as the elect men of the nation of Israel, and I hope I am of that number. We are married under Yahawashi, the Messiah. And let me actually walk through that order. And this is in 1 Corinthians chapter 11. I'll start at verse 12. Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances as I delivered them to you. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Yahawashi, the Messiah, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Yahawashi is Yahawah. And let me go into this notion that the nation of Israel is married unto God. There we are. This is Jeremiah chapter 3. I'll start at verse 12. Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 12. Go and proclaim these words toward the north and say, Return thou, backsliding Israel, saith the Most High, and I will not cause mine anger to fall upon you, for I am merciful, saith Yahawah, and I will not keep anger forever. See how this is a metaphor for what we were speaking of earlier. Verse 13. Only acknowledge thine iniquity, that thou hast transgressed against Yahawah, thy power, and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree, and yet have not obeyed my voice, saith Yahawah. Turn, O backsliding children, saith Yahawah, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion. We are married. The nation of Israel is married unto the Most High. Revelation 21 verse 3. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of Yahawah is with men, and he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and Yahawah himself shall be with them, and be their God, our power. And this is also very beautiful scripture here. I think I will end off on this. Revelation 21 and verse 4. And Yahawah shall wipe away all the tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow, nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. The world that we live in as we know it is passing away. It says in the Apocrypha, I believe it's 2nd Esdras, I believe it's 6 and 9, but it says Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it. Right now we're living in Esau's world, the Edomites' world, but it is rapidly passing away. All the more reason to cast off those attachments from this world and to set our minds on the kingdom of heaven and moving in a way that's pleasing to the Most High. With that, I will end it there and look forward to the next lesson. Shalom.